basically, we're going to be expanding globally. As many of you probably already know. I mean, we already have a global presence right now, so it's not like it's something new, but we're going to massively ramp that up because there's demand all over the place. Yeah, I also want to talk too about, so global expansion, obviously, going to expand our presence everywhere, but also we have a lot of different product offerings that are going to be launching in the near future. So we're going to get more into other market types. Most of you know we specialize in trading futures because futures have the highest leverage, lowest taxes, has the best return. So there's not really a logical reason if your just sole purpose is making money as fast as possible, which if you're trading, that's what it should be. I don't know why you'd be doing anything other than that, right? Like you have people say, well, I like to trade stocks it's uncomfortable with, or blah, 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 but it doesn't matter, right? So that's the other thing too with trading. And again,
I would actually love to talk about that right now.
Yeah, this is the perfect time to chat about this.
It drives me crazy. Listen, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a capitalist, just like most of you guys here. You guys are capitalists. I would hope that you are. I don't understand. I'll get a client on the phone and they're hell bent. Oh, I only trade stocks. For me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I don't really care what I'm trading as long as I'm making a profit, right, Brian? I mean,
well, no, your goal should be That's the other thing. Like most people that treat trading as a side hustle or some extra income stream, which is why they get a hobbyist result.
That's a good point.
Trade, you're competing against some of the smartest, richest people on this planet. So what makes you think you're going to come in here with your $5,000, $10,000 and make something out of it? All you're going to do is provide liquidity.
Well, I mean, true, but a lot of people they still want to take those same habits of what they're doing, or you have guys. I only trade stocks. Well, what do you need to trade a stock? You need at least 250, right? 300,000 a day trade stocks.
The pattern day trading rules, right? And also the way that they're taxed. This is another thing I tell people all the time. If you make a bunch of money trading stocks and wire it to your bank account, it's treated as regular income if there's no structuring. With futures, there's 60-40 tax treatment. So let's say you make $100,000 trading stocks, you wire it to your bank account, right? That's whatever tax, but that's just income. Again, we're not trying to give tax advice.
Sure.
But I just give you generalizations, right? You make $100K trading futures, you wire it to your bank account, just a regular bank account. 60% of that is capped at 15%. It's treated as long-term capital gains by the IRS. Regardless of the whole time. Okay, this is significant. So you're paying about 50% more in taxes trading things other than futures. If you're trading crypto stocks.
Well, not just that, but you have to have 100 times more leverage. I mean, it's not just.
Right, but you can get leverage in other things.
Right.
You can get leverage in Forex or options trading, for example. But again.
Well, I mean, right now we're comparing equities to futures, right?
Right, but we're talking about everything right now. Mm-hmm. So this is why we trade futures, right? Because also you have the ability to prop cash, which is get even more leverage. So it's not just about making money, it's about keeping what you make. So why are you all want to trade stocks? Why? So you can have lower leverage and pay way higher taxes? You want to trade stocks because that's all you know. That's all mainstream media has shoved in your face, right? That's what the government wants you to buy the S&P, shove all your money in a 401k, because it's good for the economy. It's not good for your bottom line. That's why we have these structures, right? That's the whole point of this retirement account. I'll put your money in there until you're 65 years old, right? The smart play here is to trade futures because I'm going to put my money in a tax-deferred entity, but you're saving a little bit of taxes, but you're massively lowering your gains. You're better off just taking that money, flipping it in futures, and paying the taxes, which are drastically reduced, and being way ahead at the end of the year.
But this is a normal mindset because I would say what would you say? 75% of people trade equities, the other percent trades Forex.
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are, but yeah.
Small portion trades futures, right?
People stay in their comfort zone. They thought, futures are high leverage, they're dangerous. Leverage is dangerous if you misuse it. You can over leverage trading equities too. It's just harder to do because it's a lot more capital intensive, and there's a lot at the typical daily range, maybe a few percent. Whereas with futures, if you're doing intraday margins, you can do 100% of the margin in a single session, right? But the thing is, we're not trading randomly. We have an edge. We grind on the market the same way the casino grinds on the player. The player's having fun. The house always wins. I tell them all the time with TruTrade, we're not in the fun business, we're in the money business. If you want to have fun, click a mouse, place your calls, gamble. If you win, your ego's validated, you make money. If you lose, you feel bad and you lost in that trade. But we're not here to have fun or get our emotions aroused. That's not what we're here for. We're here to make money. So,
yeah, I think, Brian, too, a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of our clients, but I don't want to put a percentage on it.
Just traders in general.
Just traders in general. A lot of times they'll get bored using our platforms because, all the work's done for you, right? You're not literally doing anything other than, making sure, once a week that your bot's turned on, you're engaged.
Yeah, you just set the risk and press go.
Set the risk and press go. And then Brian was talking, we talked about this so many times, and, we're here to make money with you guys. We're not here to take risk. We're not here to hit a ball out of the park. We're here to hit base hits, right? So this is probably about one of the most boringest things that you're going to do. But your mindset should be the same thing as well, especially with us. I mean, when you're trading with us and you're using our platforms, expect to be bored and expect to do something else. If you want to, one of those types that you want to buy a nice, really solid, robust software, we have platforms for that too. Go back to what I was talking about. A lot of people are just doing this for entertainment, huh, Brian? I mean,
I want to add that mindset. The reason they have that mindset is because they're expecting to lose. Because in the past, they've always lost because they were ill prepared. They're trading the shoestring account size. They have no consistency, no methodology that actually has a viable edge. And by edge, let's what I mean by edge. Let's say we're flipping a coin, right? Tails, I pay you $1,000. Heads, you pay me $2,000. Okay, we both have $100,000. Within, let's say, 100 flips, I'll have all your money. There's no way out of that, right? It's the same way if I go to a casino and bet on red roulette and get the same bet, they're going to get me in the end. I may come up ahead in the short term, but that's my point. So with TruTrade, we give you software to give you the edge. But if you over leverage, the edge is out the window. So most traders that are trading by hand, they develop these bad habits because they know deep down they don't have enough money to properly play the game from the beginning, so they're expecting to lose. That's why you hear the term, it's my play money, it's my discretionary
Well, it's not just that, but I think
also,
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I'm going to say this too. It's also the industry too, Brian. Like, right? They're used to getting these jackals on the other end. They sell them. We started off with indicators years ago, with either indicators or these cheap bots or people acting.
Right, they make it think, they feed them these false.
Or people, I have AI in my platform. Do you how many millions of dollars that we spend and how much money that we spend with this company to develop the product that we have, and we do everything in house? It costs an absolute fortune. So for 99% of these other companies that are either on TikTok and all these other stupid channels that they're on, and they use AI. And, don't fall for that, because at the end of the day, like Brian was saying previously, we don't utilize AI to trade our platforms, okay? We use AI to manage our positions, okay? And in order to be able to utilize artificial intelligence, you have to actually really know what you're doing. It's not that as simple as it sounds. A lot of times you're watching commercials these days.
Use it effectively.
Well, yeah, and you're watching commercials these days, and you have exercise bikes. And exercise bikes all of a sudden now use AI, right? I mean, come on. It's starting to be really ridiculous. So be really careful on who you're buying from. And what we were talking about before was, I think a lot of these people expect to lose. What you're saying, Brian, is
because they're used to losing.
Because they're used to also buying garbage too, and they're used to losing
for various reasons.
And they're also going in like, okay, this is extra money. And here at TruTrade, we only want the clients that actually want to take this seriously. And want to move forward. We're not here to gamble with your money. We're not here just to make another sale, because at the end of the day, the ones that just want to either gamble, we don't want you for a client. It's just not.
Well, here's the thing: the Ripple One AI won't let you do it, right? You can use high multiplier to push leverage to do it, but at the default setting, it will probably manage risk, because without risk management, there's nothing left.
Yeah. It's just, I think maybe over time, as this company is growing, leaps and bounds. And, I think over time, we're going to, hopefully we set out to do in 2018 is really change the game. And I don't mean that as a sales pitch. We really wanted to really change the way that retail trading was. And I think we've been doing a fantastic job. We've been the leaders in this industry, probably, I would imagine, since about 2021. We really jumped in, especially about in the middle of 2022. We've really, came into our own. Our software is just fantastic. The things that we have now that are launching are 10 years in front of everyone else. And it's not there to sell, guys. It's there to trade. It's there to be profitable. It's there to protect you. When we build platforms, when we build our strategies, when we build our money management platforms on the back end, we're always trying to help our bottom line and also defend us from losing the money that we just previously made, right? Anybody can build a platform that can swing for the fences. We don't trade that way. We're a defensive company. We trade in defense first, and we make money second. So we're always, Brian's always talking about hedging. Before he's talking about A or B bots in our past podcast, we talked about our private client. That's exactly what Brian was talking about, always protecting our downside. Any real trader, any real investment bank, any hedge fund, the reason why you're utilizing many different types of trades all simultaneously is everyone's just protecting their downside. When you're going to various other companies, they don't have the capabilities that we have. So you're only trading one asset at a time, and that's a losing game. There's no possible way, unless you're one of those 1% traders that, okay, hey, I have $100,000 on my account. I just made $1,800 today. I'm done for the day. But that's the 1%ers. The rest of the people are just going to keep trading. They're going to keep losing because they're only trading one asset. And you can't just trade one asset, guys. You can't. You can, but very few people can do that.
It's suboptimal.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's just very, very difficult unless you're very strict with yourself and you have your rules. But again, it's very hard to follow, which is why we build bots in the first place. Bots don't have feelings.
Yeah, but the bottom line is this. Most companies are just trying to sell you something. Like, obviously, as Dan said, we're capitalists, we're a business, we want your money. We want you to actually be successful. The thing is, people have been told falsely that they can take their little $5,000, $10,000, which may be a lot of money to them. That's fine, but it's peanuts in the market, and you can't do anything with that.
No.
So they'll sell you some junk for $2,000, $3,000 and tell you to trade your little $5,000 and your options account, or trading the death.
And we implore you not to do that. I'm not saying buy our software by all means, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is we're not going to sit here and BS anybody just to make another profit. We already do very, very well. Brian does very well. We don't need that. That's why we're growing the way that we're growing. It's why our when you're looking for the best platform to trade with on the retail side, you're looking for TruTrade. If you want to play games and if you want to get in and dabble around the market, then there's a million other companies that do so. But just understand though, $3,000, $5,000 platform, and you, like what Brian's saying, using $5,000 or $10,000 of your money, don't do it. You're just going to end up being extremely frustrated. And on top of that, you're going to tell yourself that trading's not for you.
Yeah, you're going to have a bad experience.
And then you're not going to and then you're not going to move forward on anything.
A lot of these guys do this over and over again. They'll call me up like, they'll get 5, 10, 15,000 put aside, make a run at it, right? Fail. Then, a year later they come back again and fail and fail. This is costly. The clock's ticking away. You're getting older by the minute. You're not growing any equity. You're not moving forward because you're not doing things the correct way. See, at TruTrade, we tell you how it actually works.
Right.
Not what you want to hear to make you feel good. We tell you what actually works. See, in order to make real money in this business, you have to play it safe. You can't be reckless. This whole concept of why trading's risky, all that's because you have no edge and you're over leveraged. And even if you have an edge, if your account is too small, you can't make enough money. Like, I had a guy call me the other day. He's like, I had 50,000. I made 20,000 a year trading options, whatever. I'm like, that's actually not a bad return. The thing is, if you would have had $1 million, right, you'd be living a great life, right? If you had, let's say you make 20,000 on 100K in a year, right? But if you made 20K, but if you had 20% on $1 million, you made 200K. On 10 million, $2 million. So the difference between the big traders and the small ones is just the scale of the account. It's not that they're like the small traders just forced to trade too aggressively, hoping to make money, and they're reliant on luck as a result. And I'm just talking about the scale of operation. The biggest mistake everybody makes is that, I'm new, so therefore I should start small. But there's no learning curve anymore, okay? AI has got rid of the learning curve. You could be a first-day trader or a 20-year veteran. You're going to get the same results. So this idea that I'm new, I don't know how this works, so I should start small is incorrect. You're wasting time. You want to come in as high as you can comfortably afford, buy the appropriate tier, max out the prop account slots, and get the party started. There's no need to take it slow because there's nothing for you to learn anymore. Like Dan was saying, if you had called this 3 years ago, when we had the chart-based stuff, which is what most companies are still selling, by the way, then there would be a learning curve. So it would be prudent to start small. But now that AI is where it's at and it's growing by the day, getting more and more powerful, you don't have to learn to trade anymore. I want to repeat that. There is no longer a need for you to learn how to trade to make money in the markets.
In fact, the only question
is necessary.
In fact, the only question you have to ask yourself is how many we were talking about prop firms on a previous podcast. Is how many prop firms am I available to utilize? That should be your only question. What software do I need, and how
right.
far? Yeah, right.
That's dictated by what version you buy, whether it's prop, pro, or private client. So again, the correct way to get in is based on where you're at financially. If you have the means for private client, buy it. We don't talk about price in the video because it's always changing. We're always changing the tech around. So we want this stuff to be still viable in 2030 or whatever. Right? If you're watching this video 5 years later, it's still going to be relative useful information. That's why we don't give specific price points. But bottom line, private client's top tier. So use your current financial situation as the metric for where you should come in at, not your skill level. It doesn't matter. Right? So if you have private client money, buy private client. If you only can afford the prop, buy the prop. It's better to get in where you fit in comfortably and get started than it is to wait. But don't base your purchase price point on your experience level, because that should not dictate your confidence, because it doesn't matter anymore. It does. We have literally all walks of life, all income levels, all experience levels using this product, getting the same results.
And let's touch on that really quick. So for those that are thinking, let's say you can't afford the private client version and you come in and we have a prop version. When we build our platforms, again, I was just talking previously about how we don't allow our clients to over leverage. We're always defending our bottom line, always. So if you go start with the prop and let's say you get $50,000 account, Brian?
That's the standard.
five $50,000 accounts. The platform's only going to allow you to trade so much. Again, we're here to help you guys, not just to sell. So when we build our systems, we're tuning them to where with the rules and base if we're trading by hand. Nothing changes. Just because a bot is trading doesn't mean that we change our own trading rules in the real world by hand, right? We still utilize those same rules.
Right. The core thing, that's a good point. So I want to touch on this real quick. So
Go ahead.
The core point of AI, everybody thinks AI is this magic bullet, it's a secret sauce, it's sexy word of the year, right? It's everywhere. It's pervasive. It's everywhere. It is going to take over everything, all aspects of our lives. But in this particular use case, the AI does the optimizations. Everybody knows you can't just write a piece of code, have it print money while you lay on the beach drink margaritas all day. That's a fantasy, okay? TruTrade is not selling you that. We're not telling you. That's why all these inferior companies, the lower end ones, they always say, oh, I have the best algo, blah, 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 right?
They have to.
That doesn't mean anything. At any given day, their system could beat ours could beat theirs, or the one you make in your basement could beat any of the other two, right? But what matters is risk management. It has to be done properly. So that's why we run so many different systems. But what the AI is doing is it's optimizing those parameters on the fly. Because let's say you're running like a chart-based bot, the old school style, and you have it calibrated for moderate volatility, right? And there's some political tweets, there's some Fed meetings, whatever, that causes massive turbulence. So if you run those same parameters, you're going to get destroyed. Right, it's gonna max out. It's gonna take you for whatever you allowed it to do. Right, whatever your drawdown maximum was. So the automation, the AI will recognize that. It will on the fly adapt the ranges, wide stops and targets, decrease position size to deal with higher volatility. When it contracts, it'll do the opposite. So instead of you sitting there in front of the screen, turning the bot off, recalibrating it, turning it back on, which nobody, let's face it, has time to do during the day. That's why the average person is not successful with automation. Even though it makes the job easier, before the AI revolution, it was not self-optimizing. Now it is.
Let me jump on that too. So that's actually something really good that you brought up with Brian. So this was part of the development of how we went into where we are today with our chart list. Every one of our clients back in the day, 2022, hey, Brian, hey, Dan, okay, so what are the best settings? What are the best settings, right? I'm sure you guys are all still asking yourself.
As if there was an answer.
1 second, please. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. So I'm sure the platforms that most of you guys use, you're still adjusting your settings. You're adjusting your bar sizes. You're constantly adjusting. A lot of you guys still use your different types of indicators, right? And you're always looking for that silver bullet, use Brian's term, on that for that day, but it doesn't exist. Like Brian was saying, when you have a low volatility and you have a larger bar size, either A, it's not going to trade, or B, it's just going to rip you in half. If you have a large volatility that day, and you have too small of a bar, if you're using, let's say, Rinko bars or something like that, or even a candlestick, it doesn't matter what you're trading, you're going to get chopped in half. That's the problem when it comes to trading. There's no setting that will ever work.
There's no set and forget.
No, it's impossible. And before, I believe, when I was talking about it's hard to trade a single instrument, it's the same thing with your settings. It's hard to trade a single instrument because that instrument's not going to run the same thing every day, right? And within the instrument, you have your settings. So our systems, what Brian was trying to say with our AI, it's constantly calibrating throughout the day in real time, dynamically. Throughout the day, and it's constantly adjusting per asset. So when you have a system that's constantly adjusting to either news, it's either adjusting to different consolidation levels, support resistance levels, it's adjusting to volatility. It's constantly adjusting that, okay?
The general idea here is this. A lot of people are just behind the times. They don't realize the extent the technology has come in the last couple of years. Even the earlier iterations of this product, Ripple One AI, they were still great, but now in summer 2025, it's light years ahead of what it was, summer 22. Just AI is rapidly increasing in just its power exponentially, right? So the thing is this: what we're trying to convey to you guys is that your skills do not matter anymore. I can't be any more clear on that. Okay, you do not have to know anything. We have clients that can't even articulate what a futures contract is or describe what it does that are profiting from this. They use prop accounts, they purchase the software. If they don't have the cash, they can finance it, do whatever it takes, get the software, get started, and be a successful trader. So the money is made by getting a small, safe, consistent return off a large pool of capital. That's what the pros do. They don't plunge, they don't gamble, they don't take crazy percentage, size of the risk per trade, because that's what the lower trader, the bottom trader has been doing because they don't have any more money. So you guys need to realize that prop capital exists and use it and stop trading in small accounts. And even if you're trading a small account successfully, you're making 100 times less money than you should be making.
And just to add to that too, most of the time when a trader is not funded appropriately, they will trade a different strategy, right? Because they need to make a difference with that money.
Yeah, they can't properly spread it out.
Right.
It's not even possible.
But when you have larger amounts of money, you're able to trade more safely and your mindset's completely different. Now you're spreading your risk around. But when you don't have enough funds to trade, you're trading a lot more risky, right? You're not to use a gambling analogy because I hate to use gambling analogies when it comes to trading.
I love them.
I know you do. That's why I'm going to use them.
Because they're appropriate.
I'm going to use a racehorse analogy, right?
They're appropriate. Though.
So it's like there's 10 horses on the field. This is really stupid because I hate using gambling analogies. It's like you putting all your money on one horse, right? And you go up there with the blinders on. You're putting money on one horse, and there's 10 horses on the field. Wouldn't you rather just bet on 7 of them, right? And that's kind of pretty much like what we do, right? We're not trying. If 7 win and 3 lose, you're not making all the money you would make if that one horse won, right? Which is what most of you guys do, right? You guys most bet on one horse. But when you're betting on 7 and 3 of them lost, that's the profit margin. That's exactly how we trade here at TruTrade. That's the profits that we're looking at. We're not looking for the complete upside, and we're protecting our downside. And the days that it's gonna cooperate with us, we're always making sure that we get our fair share. But what we don't want to do is have these crazy days when markets are either sideways. It's really hard to trade sideways. When the market's going to the downside, we're making a lot of money. When it's going to the upside, we're making a lot of money. Where you start losing money is when the markets are very stagnant. It's in consolidation, meaning the markets are really flat. Trying to force something to happen. Our platforms normally won't even trade during those sessions at all anyway.
No, typically no.
Typically, of course not.
Volatility is too low to stay out.
So all these things you guys do. So if you're trading, one asset, you're trading a small account, you're going to want to trade. Trust me, I've done it. You're going to want to trade during the day when you shouldn't even be trading. Or actually, you've already made profit in the morning, and now you keep trading. You know why? Because you guys are bored. So everyone wants to keep trading. It's a zero-sum game. You'll never win. And
it's actually a negative-sum game because the broker gets paid no matter what.
Sure. Great. Thank you guys for watching. To talk with Brian or myself, visit TruTrade.io. That's TruTrade.io. Fill out the form and click the Let's Get Started button on the website, and let's have a conversation. Thank you.